Hi guys, this is Akhlaq Hamid. Welcome back to my channel. Okay guys, so if you're one of these people who have just got your Pocket 3 and you want to know the best settings to get the cinematic experience or get the most out of your Pocket 3, then you've come to the right video. Now this camera guys, before I speak about the settings or go into any of that, I just want to say this camera has actually blown me away, believe it or not. But I tend to use this camera more than my Sony A7 Mark IV. You know, it almost gives the same quality. You know, if you go on YouTube, you'll see many YouTubers out there, they've actually compared it with the iPhone, Sony A7 III, all sorts, you name it. You know, they've compared it with all these top-notch cameras, and rightfully so, because, you know, like I say, it is a very good camera. It's actually blown me away. Maybe in another video I'll go into more detail, do some cinematic stuff for you guys to see. But yeah, so if you want to get the best experience from the Pocket 3, I'm going to speak about that now. So just sit back and have your Pocket 3 ready so we can go through these settings together. Okay guys, so the very first setting, we want to go through the frame rates here. So what you'd normally do is you'd put your finger from the bottom of the screen and swipe upwards. So, and you can see it gives us the resolution and the frame rates. Now we want to go for the highest quality, in which case with the Osmo Pocket 3 that would be 4K. So obviously we want the top quality, so 4K is the way to go. And at the bottom here we have the FPS, which means the frames per second. Now we want to go for the 24. Well, I normally personally do 24 frames per second, and I think that's what a lot of vloggers do. Reason being is many movies that you see on cinema, you know, they're all Hollywood stuff, they tend to use the 24 frames per second here, because let's be honest, last time you went into a cinema movie theater, when was it the last time you saw buttery kind of smooth motion in the image? Reason you don't see that, reason being is because they use the 24 frames per second. So that's what I would recommend. So go by the 24 frames per second. But one thing I will say is, if you're one of these people who you feel you're going to use the you're going to slow down some footage at some point, then in that case I would recommend you use the 60 frames per second, so that way you can slow it down in post. So yeah, use 60 frames per second if you're going to slow down some footage. Other than that, I highly recommend to do your best to keep it on 24 frames per second, because that's the best way to go. And the next thing we want to talk about is the white balance. So what we want to do here is, if you swipe your thumb from the right of the screen to the left, you'll get this pop-up option, and you see the auto white balance here. So you press the auto white balance. Now honestly guys, with this one I always tend to stick with the auto, because I feel DJI does a very good job with the auto white balance. So just leave the settings on auto white balance. However, that being said, the only thing I will say is, if you're using studio lights like the way I am doing right now, so let's just say for example your color temperature of the studio light is let's just say 6500 Kelvin, just as an example. Then you'd change the settings on the Pocket 3 to 6500, so you match the temperature with your studio lights. But if you're not using studio lights, then I highly recommend you stick to the auto white balance. So that's the other thing. And the other thing we want to go through here is the exposure mode. So you can see the M here, exposure M, which basically means manual. Now because I've told you at the start to change it to 24 frames per second, it was 24 frames per second, in which case we would change the shutter speed to a 1/50, because that's the closest to 48. And likewise, if you're using 60 frames per second, you would change your shutter speed to 120. That's all. So as long as you're sticking to the rule of thirds here with the shutter speed, then you're good to go. That's absolutely fine. And the other thing I want to mention is the ISO. Now the ISO, I would recommend you stick to the lowest value. In this case, it's 50 ISO 50, because that's the lowest and you're going to get the cleanest image. But worst case scenario, if you're in a run and gun situation, meaning if you're moving around a lot or you're outdoors a lot, then I would strongly suggest you go with the setting value of 50 to 800, because I find that going over 800 cause a lot of distortion in your image. So 50, anything over 800, just do your best to avoid that. But other than that, guys, I would recommend you go with 50 ISO. That's going to give you the best setting here. Now, this is the most important bit here. And because you've gone through with the settings so far and you've followed me so far, I strongly recommend, and this is the most important thing from the whole of the video, is to go with the D-Log M. The D-Log M, now that's going to give you a 10-bit image footage, and the most important thing is it's going to give you the ability to color grade. Now when you're color grading in the D-Log M, you have the it has the capacity to color grade, so you have flexibility in your color grading, and it has about 100, I believe it's, I don't know, I think it's about million sort of colors that you can play around with. So don't get me wrong, auto, if you stick to auto normal color, that gives you good footage as well, but only use that if you're in a rush and you can't be bothered color grading. Otherwise, stick to the D-Log M, and this is important if you've gone through all the settings which you've followed me so far. Now you might find when you're outside and you've followed the rule of third or anything, you might find that the image is too bright because the sun's out or whatnot. In that case, you would need ND filters. Now ND filters, this is a must. Now even if you feel that the image is just right and it's a cloudy day, I would still highly recommend buying some ND filters, because that's what's going to give you the best image quality in terms of colors and everything. The ND filters, they're just basically like, you know, using sunglasses for your eyes. These are like sunglasses for the lens. So that's what it's basically for. So I highly recommend, I will link some in the description box. The ones that I personally use are the Freewell ones, because the Freewell ones, they'll give you all day ND filters, whereas the DJI ones, they're not all day ones. So I strongly recommend Freewell ND filters. I will link them at the bottom of the page. And the good thing is with this is that they're magnetic as well. So you can just stick to they'll stick on your lens like, you know, just basically like magnetic. So which is a good thing. Now, last but not least here, the other thing I want to say here is if you purchase the Creator Combo Pack with your Pocket 3, then you would have got the DJI Mic. Now DJI Mic is actually a good thing. It's a good tool to use when you're vlogging. So basically what you'd normally do is just keep the power button press, and you follow the online the screen instructions. So it will tell you on here that the you know, it'll actually tell you that you're connected when the blue light stops blinking. So you just follow the online on-screen instructions. Very simple here. If you're still not sure, just comment below and I'll help you get through that. Yeah, so and that's basically all it is, guys. Those are the recommended settings. Now, one thing I will also say is if you're new to color grading, you know, you're not sure, then stick with the auto settings. But at some point, I would say, you know, try and use the manual settings, which I've gone through with you in this video, and use the D-Log M and do your best to color grade as well, guys, because, you know, there's a lot of advantages by color grading manually. You know, just get into the habit of using manual mode and color grade, because, you know, you don't want to go on auto all the time, because if you use auto all the time, then you're going to stick to it. And, you know, you're not going to feel comfortable. It's best. I'm at the point now where I feel comfortable using the manual mode and color grading. You know, it's good to get into that habit, because now I feel I've come out my comfort zone. Now, I wouldn't say I'm an expert in color grading. You know, I'm still learning just like you guys. But I'm at the point now where I feel I can color grade now. And I'm out of my comfort zone of using the auto feature. So yeah, there you have it, guys. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comment box below. I will do more videos. I will try and make some cinematic footage from the Pocket 3 so you guys can experience how brilliant it is by using the D-Log M feature. So there you have it, guys. So if you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button, and as always, see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching.